go and get it till them people come get me. Keep saying I'ma quit, plug won't let me.
The NFC West is one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL, and they're always separated by at least 3 games from the first team to the last team. Starting with the NFC champion Seahawks, I'll let you give your prediction on them.
Okay. Well, Russell Wilson just signed his major big contract, and I'm not a fan of quarterbacks after they sign big contracts because they always underplay after they get their money. But on the good side, they are a decent team. Like, they're still an elite team, still to be fair by, not just the NFC but the AFC as well. Like, they're that team. Like, they're pretty good on both sides of the ball. Like, defensively, like, they're like so solid, and offensively, they're pretty good. Like, they're like the most well-rounded team. Like, as far as like offensive and defensive, they're just well-rounded. Everything is in place for them to win, just like it was for the Super Bowl, but they decided to throw. But everything, like I said, everything is in place for them. They just have to know how to utilize because everybody has a key part in everything, from Russell Wilson to Marshawn Lynch to that monster secondary. Like, everything has to just all play within, like, all they have to do is continue doing what they were doing last year and the year before, and just continue to be as good as they are and not make the major mistake like when Russell Wilson threw the ball. They just have to stay on track as far as that. I can see them going, at least 2 games in the playoffs. They will be in the playoffs. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. They will be in the playoffs. They will go far in the playoffs. If they can get back to the Super Bowl, great. Because I can actually see them, taking out the AFC. They're so well-rounded that they can compete with any team in the AFC. Like, there's no question in my mind that they probably, and they could have done better in the Super Bowl last year. But that's another topic. I don't even want to think about that right now. Because not only did they lose the Super Bowl, they lost to one of the most hated teams in the NFL. But I give the Seahawks an 11-5 record. Granted, it's going to be like, there's a lot of teams that did a lot in the offseason, so it's going to create a little bit more competition for them. But they're still that solid team, and they will do what they have to do. That's pretty much what I have to say about them.
You'll have to give me a second to gather myself. You just took me back to that Super Bowl play. I think you just brought it up like twice. I cringe every time I bring back to that place. Pete Carroll, hope I get to talk to you one day because I have a couple words for you. But the Seahawks.
I only have 2 words for you.
Yeah, that's a couple. But the Seahawks, what they did this offseason, they lost their best offensive lineman in Max Unger to bring in Jimmy Graham. So, yes, their line takes a hit, but you have to think about if they had Jimmy Graham to throw to in the Super Bowl on that play, since they wanted to throw.
He definitely would have made that play.
Yeah, that would have been somebody who could have made that play for them. But and the thing about the Seahawks, with them, of course, with them being first in their division, they have a tough schedule. They have to play all the other number 1 teams, and they're already in a tough division as it is. So, I think what Cryssy said with them being 11-5, that's not like far-fetched. I actually have them going 10-6. I think they probably could split with the Cardinals. They could split with the Rams actually. I think they have to go to Green Bay and play the Packers this year. And I don't know, I just can't really see them winning as many games. But I think the question mark and the weak spot for this team is their offensive line. and I'm really worried that Russell Wilson could be running for his life this year. And
Well, he's a running quarterback.
yeah, he is, but he's also had a pretty good line, whereas though, he's been able to avoid.
Well, maybe he should have that type of scariness about him because if he didn't feel so comfortable in that pocket, he wouldn't have thrown the ball. So let him scramble. Let him turn into the Randall Cunningham. Like maybe that's what he needs to do. Because I don't like when they take a certain type of quarterback and try to mold them into these other type of quarterbacks. That's where they make those crucial mistakes, and then their career just crumbles. They did that to McNabb in Philly. Like, let them do them. Like, let them do what they have to do. Stop trying to change these quarterbacks. Have you ever seen them trying to change Peyton Manning into a running quarterback? No, because hell no. Do you see Eli Manning when he runs? It's like watching Forrest Gump in reverse. No. You leave them as they are. They are who they are because of that's their conditioning. Leave these quarterbacks alone. Like if you have you know how they try to stereotype these quarterbacks. Like you'll have a black quarterback who's actually a good pocket quarterback, and then they say, "Oh no, you're black. That's wrong." No, let him sit in that pocket and let him become the next freaking John Elway or whoever he wants to be. Stop making everybody is not Randall Cunningham. Everybody is not McNabb, and everybody's not Michael Vick. Like, no, just let them do what they have to do. And I don't even know what Russell Wilson is, so he like half black, half white, so he can do both. So yeah.
The thing is, if they are able to protect them, I don't think they have a lot of weapons after Graham and Doug Baldwin to throw the ball to. They don't have a lot of options. They drafted Tyler Lockett in the 3rd round, but I mean, let's say someone gets injured. They really don't have a lot of options, so that's why I don't really see them being as good. But you can never count that the LOB out, the Legion of Boom. They lost Byron Maxwell, but they brought in Kerry Williams, who I think
it's better with that. He needs somebody with.
He fits the identity of that team. I think. I mean, not saying he's a great quarterback, but he'll fit in, and I think he'll be better there than he was in Philadelphia. Yeah.
Mostly everybody that they brought in Philly was like they never took in consideration that they came from like a group of people that made them play off each other, which is why everybody comes to Philly and sucks. Mm-hmm. But Kerry Williams would be a much, much, much better asset to the Seahawks than he was with Philly. And, like you said, like they may have not that much as far as who to throw the ball to, but you still got Marshawn Lynch who will run over any and everything.
When they call running plays for him.
Yeah, when they call running plays.
So call running plays, and 11-5 or 10-6. But as we all know, once you get in the playoffs, who knows?
Yeah, I'm thankful.
The St. Louis Rams, they were an up and coming team last year. They made a lot of noise with their defense, and they played good, being as though they were in a stellar division. What they did this offseason, they traded away Sam Bradford and brought in Nick Foles. And they drafted Todd Gurley in the 1st round. That was actually a surprising pick to me. I like Trey Mason as a running back. I thought he could be a feature back, but they obviously thought they can get better. And with them moving Trey Mason, he's actually a very good number 2 running back. They don't really have a deep receiving core. They have Kenny Britt, who's getting up there in age. So it's hard to say who actually Nick Foles is going to have to throw the ball to. But at the end of the day, now their identity of that team is with the defense. That's the heart and soul of that team, and I think they're going to ride their defense all season. The thing about that is I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to carry them into the playoffs, especially, like I said, with them being in a tough division. They did bring in Nick Fairley for their defensive line from the Lions, which it's a good pickup. It's not a great pickup. I think Nick Fairley is a tad bit overrated. They drafted Rob Hosting in the second round, also to help out with that line. So all they really did was get better on an already pretty good defense. I just don't think the offense got that much better. I don't think they did enough to address the offense. So 8-8, 500 record, mediocre for the St. Louis Rams. But I like the direction that they're going in.
I concur.
8-8.
8-8.
I definitely don't think 8-8 will get a wild card.
No, not in that division. Not at all.
Nah. But
It is a start.
how you think Nick Foles is going to do?
I think Nick Foles will do better than Sam Bradford did there for it's just like a hunch that I have because Sam Bradford was such a like immobile quarterback to me. Like anytime he did move, he broke something like Mr. Glass. And I think by Nick Foles being behind that horrible line that he played behind last year, so he knows how to move a little bit and get out of the way. He'll fare much better with the Rams than he did with the Eagles.
8-8. On the up and up though. The Arizona Cardinals, who I think they shocked a few people last year, but I'll let you talk about what you think they're going to do this year.
Alrighty. I don't think they pretty much shocked me last year because defensively it just seemed like that's what they should have been doing. And I guess with their both their quarterbacks going out, kind of like shot them in the foot last year. So you can't do anything without a quarterback. And I think at one point, like even the third string got hurt or something. But I mean, Carson Palmer and Drew standing to be back. I think they probably should rely more so on Drew this year because Carson Palmer is about like 95 years old. So he's like in football retirement mode. Get his yellow jacket ready. And I mean like their receivers are still great. Defensively they're still great. I mean they lost one. It's like they lost one, but kind of it's not going to like really be too much because they whatever they lost they kind of put the piece right back in there. So they'll pretty much be still that same team, but being as though like they're going to be playing in such a competitive division, I see them going 10-6 this year. Close but no cigars. I mean, it's going to be pretty competitive, and I can't wait to see the games between I actually can't wait to see any of the games between the whole NFC West because I think they're becoming what the NFC East used to be, like so competitive within each other. Like there's like not just that you're not going to have a kick around team in that division so much. I mean it may be the 49ers just because they're just looking for identity for the season, but overall like they're still like all of them defensively are like pretty solid. Like each team in the NFC West are pretty good as far as defense.
The Cardinals didn't do they didn't do a whole lot this offseason. I think they were pretty much riding on the fact that if they had their quarterback in the playoffs that they could have won farther. And I think they used that to, tell themselves that they didn't need to do much this offseason. They didn't really bring too many people in. They brought in Mike Lupati for their line. They brought in David Johnson to help with the running game. But like you said, they're in a tough division. They're gonna have a tough schedule. Their schedule is not really friendly to them. At least I think the back end of the schedule is very tough for them.
Yeah.
The front end looks pretty easy, but 10-6, I think I solely agree on 10-6. That'll probably be, but 10-6 might be enough to compete for the division, depending on what Seattle does.
And I think like as far as like their schedule is set up, it was kind of like the same way, which is what I think kind of like injured their quarterbacks because it was kind of like it was good and then it just got worse. then you had Seattle, who started with the more, it was more tough, and they kind of started off to a slow start and ended up fast. It was kind of like they kind of like switched with each other. It was the Cardinals.
Cardinals
And
had the best record in the
yeah,
NFL mid-season.
Yeah, and then like once they got to those tougher games, and then like everything started breaking down from there. And I can agree on like why they probably felt they didn't need to do too much changing, because I agree that if they had their quarterback, they would have been they would have went much further. Would they have ended up in the Super Bowl like the Seahawks? Hell no. But that's just, I think they would have went further, but they probably would have ended up getting knocked out by the Seahawks.
I'm not so ready to give up on my man Carson Palmer yet.
I am. That dude has he's like those he's like the little Ken dolls that you can just like pop little pieces off of him, because every freaking year is like, what's new? What's the new injury? And then when he comes back, it's like another thing. So I think like he'll maybe like if he stays healthy, but I think they should rotate him, because he's.
I think if he's healthy, he can give two good years.
Yeah, I give him 2 more years, but after that, I mean, like we're pretty much like he needs to just start doing them AARP commercials or something, and try to start get some connections with Peyton Manning, and start doing some direct TV commercials. You can have something to fall back on. Papa John's something. I think he's probably going to be like something less spoken because of the concussions and everything. He's not going to be all there. He's going to be like listening to the commentators on ESPN. It's like, rah, 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 rah.
But you do agree if he's healthy,
they will definitely do something. I mean, they'll make some noise, but it's like I said, it's a tough like everything as far as like defensively. It's going to be a little tough.
We'll see. But winning record, playoffs.
Second in the division. I mean, in their division, it's going to be the Seahawks, then the Cardinals.
We'll see what they do once they get to the playoffs.
If they get to the playoffs.
The San Francisco 49ers. The offseason that was or wasn't, or they wish never happened. Unfortunately, it happened. And out of the 22 starters, they're probably getting one back. I don't know. I don't even know who's still on the team. If you still play for the 49ers, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, just like push the thumbs up button so we can know that you're even still, like something.
I'm just going to go down this list of people or key people. I think the key people that they lost. Frank Gore, gone. Michael Crabtree, gone. Justin Smith, gone. Ray McDonald, gone. Patrick Willis, gone. Dan Scooter, gone. Chris Borland, gone. Chris Culliver and Parrish Cox, both gone. And as recently as a few days ago, Alden Smith, now gone. So,
we do know Colin Kaepernick still plays for them.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't know. They brought in Reggie Bush to replace or to help with the replacement of Frank Gore. They also drafted Mike Davis in the 4th round. They brought in Torrey Smith to help with their receiving core. So now their receiving core looks like the receiving core they lost the Super Bowl to, with Torrey Smith and Anquan Bolden on the other side. So they have that going for them. They're having a new whole coaching staff there. They got rid of Jim Harbaugh, who went to Michigan. We all know that. But I just think that they just lost too many people. And I know some 49er fans who preaches the next man up and heavy, but they don't have that many men that can step up. I'm sorry. You need people to replace people who've already replaced people. So, sorry 49ers, but
that's being generous.
It's a rebuild. They don't want to call it a rebuild, but unfortunately, it's a rebuild because
it's time for a rebuild. What your 49ers fans need to realize is that you do not have Steve Young. You do not have Joe Montana, and you do damn sure do not have Jerry Rice. And it is time. If I came to terms with my Cowboys rebuilding for about 20 years, you guys are going to have to accept the fact that it's just that you just have to rebuild. You cannot just just take what you can get and then try to push him out on the field and think you're going to compete with it, because it's not going to happen. Not in that division, at least. Like, it's definitely not going to happen. Maybe if you were in a shitty, division, then maybe you can put like that, sloppy seconds out there and think you're going to do something with it. But not in that division. It's going to be tough. He's going to be generous and give you guys a 6-10, whereas though I see you only winning 5 games.
A lot of people have counted Cap out, and I haven't. But it's pretty much going to be all on him. He's going to have to win some games. He's going to have to score some points. And whether he can do that, score 24, 27 points a game, we'll see.
I mean, I think once Beyonce turned them lights out at that Super Bowl, they never came back on for the 49ers. Like,
no, they were actually...
they started, but I'm saying, like, after that game, it's just been like, it's never been, as Drake will say, nothing was the same.
Yeah, once you see them on the field, you will really see that nothing is going to ever be the same for the 49ers.
I see Colin Kaepernick, like, crying to get out of his contract mid-season. It's just like, I just don't have any, it's like, there's no understanding to what has been done there. Like, it's like, the damage is done. It's like...
And nobody could have expected it. You got people retiring after their rookie season at age 24, 25, age 29. Like, nobody could have saw this coming. I'm sure the front office didn't see this coming. But, I mean, they're going to have to fix it. I think one of their
biggest mistakes was letting just firing Jim Harbaugh. Like, I really...
That was...
You telling me that y'all can get rid of him, but Philly can hang on to Andy Reid for all them seasons? Where's the loyalty there?
When Andy is part of the front office as well, that got something to do with it. As opposed to beefing with the front office, he was actually a part of it. So that's why Andy stuck around.
I mean, like, you get losing coaches that stick around for years. Losing coach, like, I don't know. But only thing I can say is that the 49ers did it to themselves.
They're going to lose some games, but I think they're going to make it interesting. They might be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch because it's going to be like 4 players on the field.
But
guess they're going to have to call the water boy.
Sorry, Niners. Maybe see you
not
back
even
around.
Next year. No, not even going to say next year.
Yeah.
No.
You're probably right.
Maybe y'all should call up like the whole commentators from the ESPN line and
Tom Jackson.
Yeah, just say like,
Mike
hey,
Dicker,
guys,
Keyshawn Johnson.
Hey, Keyshawn. No, you were overrated before, but would you like to have a spot on the team? Call
I'll
somebody.
play for y'all.
I would play, but red and gold doesn't look good on me.
6-10 Niner fans. Anybody got any opposes anything? I'd love to hear from you. You can hit me up on Twitter at TD Berry _ and your Twitter is?
I don't really be on there, but it is at she is with the Z moi.
She is moi. And that's it. That's the NFC West.
I'ma go and get it till them people come get me. Keep saying I'ma quit, plug won't let me.